Hello, and welcome to today's live AppSpider demo. My name is Catherine, and I'll be your moderator today. In our resource list, you can find related content to this demo. You can also tweet at us or email us using the Twitter widget and Contact Us widget. You will be able to watch a replay of this demo at any time by revisiting the link you used to join sessions live. We have about 45 minutes for today's session, including time for questions at the end. You can ask questions at any time in the Q&A widget, and we will get to them at the end of the session. As an attendee of this demo, you're eligible for 1 CPE credit. You can report on your organization's website, for example, on iscsquared.org. We strongly recommend that you keep a copy of your webcast registration email in case you get audited. For detailed instructions on how to self-report, please visit bit.ly/r7cpe. Please note that the URL is case-sensitive. Today's presenter is Hollis Howell, Senior Security Engineer for Rapid7. Now over to you, Hollis.
Thanks, Catherine. So welcome to AppSpider Live Demo Webcast. I'm going to slip through a few of these slides here, and just for context, give you the overview of AppSpider. So AppSpider is the leader in dynamic application security testing solutions that will enable you to effectively manage your application security programs, complex, rich internet front ends, APIs, web services, and mobile components. AppSpider delivers the most comprehensive application security coverage of all DAS solutions. And I actually have this other technology we want to talk about is the Universal Translator. And again, just for context, I'll give you the slide here. And it will allow us to more or less stay ahead of the emerging trends of sophisticated attack methodologies. AppSpider is a solution that's going to help you address the growing demands for mature application security posture. It will also fit smartly into the existing DevSecOps perspective that everyone should be responsible for security. So what we have planned today is to go in and give you a live demo of AppSpider. And let me get my share going here. All right. And if you would like to follow along, please go and download the latest version of AppSpider. You can go to the landing page, and that's www.rapid7.com/products/AppSpider, and click on Get the Trial Today. So most security teams today are responsible for securing hundreds and hundreds of applications to comply with industry and government regulations and to keep up with the latest hacking trends. AppSpider is a very robust and automated solution approach to help quell the challenges of scale and complexity when faced with very comprehensive demands of delivering secure, state-of-the-art, leading-edge, innovative digital business and social ecosystems. So as you see here, I already have AppSpider installed here. Let's take a closer look at a completed scan for the sake of time and context. In the dashboard view, you'll see the actual finding summary, which is going to give you a graphical breakdown of all the vulnerabilities by the criticality. The network monitor is going to give you more or less like the weather conditions during the scan. You'll be able to see total number of requests, total fail requests if we're hitting against a proxy or some IPS or what have you. Give you the actual speed the scan's running and more or less the response time of those packets. The progress bars here in green, when the scan is running, you will see the animation showing you the actual progress as the scan propagates throughout the targeted application. And the overall scan status is going to give you the actual domain or the target that we're going to scan. Form authentication, this indication when we are logged in live into the application, it will go to green. It says logged in. And you get the start time, time elapsed, and so estimated time of remaining on this actual scan. Let's just kind of drill into some of the other general views of AppSpider. Let's go look into the actual findings of this completed scan. So AppSpider within the general view is going to give you a breakdown of class and severity. Now let's drill into the application developer attack class. We'll run here, and we will pick on the persistent cross-site scripting vulnerability here. All right. So AppSpider is going to provide a quick description of this vulnerability, the recommendations, and referenceable information. It's going to help you to quickly, assess the overall ramification of this vulnerability. It's going to also help you to with some guidance on fixing and understanding why this issue exists. All right, and what we're going to do is give you the original traffic as the crawler information that you see here, where AppSpider did the traffic without an actual payload here, and you'll get the request here and the response information. Of course, you'll see HTML. But if you go back into the attack traffic, you get that request with the attack payload and then that response, and it's hidden down in here in some encoding. But if you go to the response HTML, we'll give you the pop-up just to further indicate that this vulnerability does exist, and AppSpider was successful in finding this vulnerability. So let's go into the actual site structure itself, give you a catalog of the vulnerability, list out all the directories and all the structure of this application, and you can drill in and see where these vulnerabilities exist. And with those icons is going to give you that prioritization of the vulnerability that's been discovered. So just for instance, if you've missed a directory or if you scanned the wrong target, it'll give you a clear indication as you go looking at the actual site structure itself. The site information gives you all the different comments and all the other things, emails and objects that may be discovered within here. What we're going to do here now is go back into the actual status, and good we can do is really just go back and just say start a new scan here. So from here you have new configuration or edit configuration, and several of the scans that I have set up here. Again, we've run the scans already, so let's go into, say, edit a configuration. And this SOAP scan that I ran here, the actual target we gave was where the WSDL location is, right? So we can upload that location of that WSDL file and give it the authentication, whether it's form or macro-based. We can also add additional recorded traffic. Let's go back here. And it's going to bounce around a bit here. And if we want to look at, say, if we want to scan a JSON file, if you have RESTful services, we can upload that JSON file into our Swagger utility, and we can also begin to attack this. Okay, let me see another one. So another very popular, I guess, scan configuration is if you have a burp recording and you want to use that as your test. We can use that to give you parameters of your overall vulnerability assessment, upload that traffic recording, we can scan it, and we can also lock it down to this particular recording. So beyond burp, we also support other disparate protocols and from other technologies as Paros, WebScarab, Fiddler, and a few others in there. So, but we're just going to give you a quick glimpse of this. But let's go back into the new configuration. And so with a new configuration, what you want to do is you want to give it a name, of course, and we can just say test. And that URL, the seed URL, we'll use WebScan tests. .com, and as you see, AppSpider will give you more or less a correction of that URL. If there's a URL that you don't want to scan, you can simply click the red X and it goes away. The max links here, 5,000 to default, but if you need to scale that down to 1,000 links, otherwise you can scale as many as 50,000 or 100,000 links, but that is going to determine the length and time of your scan. So again, we can also restrict to the seed URL, and what this is going to do is going to only allow AppSpider to perform an actual exhaustive scan against that URL or a list of URLs that are associated to that actual site. But we're going to leave this box unchecked. We'll go next. The questionnaire itself here is going to give you a list of options to build out this configuration. In a nutshell, AppSpider is the best in the business when it comes to scanning complex applications in their most native form. So it's like a hacker in a box. It's comprised of multiple attack modules and tools, and they're capable of handling all types of methodologies for logging in and it's also interacting with a lot of choke points. So let's kind of step through some of these settings. And when you think of the questionnaire, think of the Pareto principle. 80% of the time, you're going to configure probably 20% of these. So if you want to do a real quick scan, you launch AppSpider, you give it a name, a CGRL, and you click Save and Run, and it will take those base settings and performance analysis. Otherwise, you can come in and craft your own settings. And so for the attack policy, you can say Select All just for this particular demonstration. We go next. So the actual attack policy is going to provide you with different attack approaches. So you have all attacks, you have crawl only, you have OWASP, SQL injection only, or cross-site scripting only type of module set. And the active checks, as you see here, are more or less going to send the transmission to the target and examining the responses to evaluate the signs of weaknesses that a hacker would potentially spot. The passive checks, of course, they're also going to point weaknesses, but more in an observation approach, and it's going to look for known vulnerabilities and bugs that may exist within the application. The attack location is more specific to the actual URI syntax. So where would AppSpider look, within the overall message for the vulnerability? You'll see here there's checkboxes, and then you can configure this to your liking. But these are the factory sets. These are sort of best of industry settings. But again, you feel free to make any changes within your environment. But from here we go to the actual proxy settings. Very, very important section here. So if you're interacting with an actual proxy configuration, a pack file, we support all types and all flavors of proxy configurations. Into authentication is another very important. As AppSpider is going to mimic the user, you want to teach it how to log into the application to perform the scan. And we support many authentication options here. So for instance, we have the simple form, things for like single sign-on, macro auth, HTTP auth, Kerberos and digest. We support those. Scan Bootstrap is more of an interactive login. So if you have CAPTCHAs, you have CAT cards or RSA tokens that you can't necessarily guess, we can go in interactive mode, and the Bootstrap will allow you to input that information and then click resume, and it'll begin to scan automatically. The proxy log authentication, you name it, the session hijacking, hijack the actual cookies. And you have the HMAC auth, like for Facebook. We have that in here. And then, of course, we have advanced settings. And within the advanced settings are you have things for file not found. There's 401 pages that you may want to configure when AppSpider is performing a scan. You want to let it know when it's logged in and when it's logged out. Some telltale signs, and so you can use regex or just clear text and configure that. So beyond here, you have restrictions. So AppSpider actually does blacklist and whitelist of different settings here. So if there's a contact us page that you really don't want it to scan, you can essentially go in and say exclude this particular URL from the scan, or you just may want to crawl it but say not attack it. You can very well allow AppSpider to assess that site but not perform any attack on that particular target there. HTTP headers, things, if you have like bearer tokens, if you have unique custom tokens that you need to input into the header, you can very well customize that. You can also have user agents to mimic other browsers that your environment may support. So this is all here. So again, AppSpider is that Swiss Army knife that you can really expand it out to perform the analysis of your target. Performance, total number of retry attempts, so AppSpider will hit that target and then it will perform 2 additional attacks against it. We have the server load option, so if you want to do a heavy or a light assessment, if there's a site that may be in production and you want to do a very light scan, you can modify the performance here of AppSpider to sort of throttle back the scan itself. But all that's within here. The reporting is a very important piece here. So there's HTML rich reporting I'll show you in a bit. Also have the ability to create PDF reports, or you can get an XML dump of the information. Web services, where if you're scanning SOAP applications, this is where you will put in that WSDO link. And we also support web service authentication. You can input that information. Again, talking about the recorded traffic, if there's a capture of traffic that you want to use, whether it's from burp or we have a traffic recorder that will also allow you to create this traffic pattern, and you can upload it to test against it. Otherwise, we will fully support Selenium if that's something that's within your environment. We definitely want to expand that out. And then parameter training is more or less priming the pump. You have a web form on your site, and you need to give it actual values, usernames, birth dates, social security numbers, things like that. The parameter training is a list of just data that's going to populate during the crawl and perform during the audit. So this is something that's also really, really important here. And beyond that, all of the advanced options, things that are outside the normal scope of scanning, we have all that, crawler configurations, attack configurations. So let's just get into the actual reporting of AppSpider. And just going to toggle over to my browser here, if I can find that. Where are you? I tell you what, let's go back here and we'll just view a report. Okay. So the one report we pulled up here is one I did again before, and so this is the overall executive summary that you have, bar graphs and pie charts. There are other reports that you can leverage here. A few in particular that I like is a remediation summary, where it's going to give you more or less cost estimates on man hours and time to repair issues. Really, really important to the bottom line here. Then there's application threat modeling. It's going to illustrate the attacks by site layers, variances, interdependencies, things like that. So this is another report that's going to illustrate the vulnerabilities that you have and highlight those weaknesses. Okay, this is a SOAP scan here. Then let's go back to another report here, like the application developer. And right here. All right, so this one here is going to actually give you details by attack modules. And within this report, you can actually validate the findings by rerunning the test. So if this test took 5 minutes or 5 hours, you want to be able to go and perform a quick test against that vulnerability that was found. And so within the report, we have the validate feature for AppSpider that's going to literally retest that single session. So you can take the report and you can share with your development group, with your QA group, without having to share the whole entire console of AppSpider. So this is going, again, to help to avoid having to rerun the entire scan just to prove if an issue has been fixed or resolved. So ran through a lot of information about AppSpider. And if there's additional questions, definitely feel free to reach out to us. But this concludes the AppSpider live demo broadcast, and thanks for tuning in. And for more information, contact your local Rapid7 representative or go to rapid7.com/contact, and someone will be sure to follow up with you. And I believe there's time for questions and answers.
Yep, thank you, Holly, for your time. Yep, we had 2 questions come through. One is, for those with us using Rapid7's Nextpost, is AppSpider integrated into our current scans?
So this is something that is definitely being done as we speak, and we're going to begin to marry the technologies closer and closer. So definitely stay tuned to some of the advancements across our portfolio suite. This is something definitely that we are strongly considering. So again, just be on the lookout.
Great. Another question we have is, I'm interested in how AppSpider can be used by developer teams who use continuous integration. specifically how Jenkins and Jira can be used to automate scans of new builds for developers and report meaningful findings like that a security expert does not need.
Yeah, that's really, really important with the DevOps, because oftentimes in security, when you think of dynamic analysis, you think of late lifecycle testing, but in fact, there's early lifecycle testing, and AppSpider fits right, smartly into the continuous integration process, where when that application is stood up, we were actually able to perform an analysis and take the evidence and run it through the actual the IDE or the ticketing system to provide insight and more or less the oversight and the coverage for the vulnerabilities to become fixed and to be addressed and also to be able to be quantified. So AppSpider is going to fit right within your existing infrastructure, whether it's Quality Center or the ALP, ALM, or the actual Jenkins and Bamboo. We're able to integrate in with those systems. And again, have this information inputted in to overall substantiate your security efforts. So it's really, really big in the DevOps space.
Great, thank you. Looks like that's all the questions that we had. So thank you for your questions, and thank you to Hollis for taking the time out to present for us today. You will be able to watch a replay of this demo at any time by revisiting the link you joined today's session live. We hope to see you at another Rapid7 webinar again soon. Thanks and have a great day.